Peace be upon you. Okay, the feminine is disillusioned, inconsistent offers or no offers whatsoever coming in, no apologies, no redos, no attempts to reconnect. The masculine, struggling, both financially or knowing how to proceed into practical, which direction to go in, doesn't see potential for growth or expansion, struggling to hold up a job or see financial opportunities for stability. They have very little to give or invest right now. They're struggling. Yep, that's why people are not showing up, because they're terrified of not being able to, as in, they got no promises, nothing to offer. Okay, what's the challenge here? The King of Cups in reverse. It's a perception of love on both ends here that needs to change. What does love actually mean? Is it based on what we can obtain from one another? The King of Cups is the emotionally unavailable or immature, the spiteful, entitled, demanding, filled with expectations, needy, and dramatic, masculine, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, that doesn't show up, having good reasons not to. They're distrustful. They can be also stingy, regardless of whether they have the resources or not. They seem to be disheartened by the fact that they never really seem to be valued, or their love, or what they have to offer, or their emotions, and hence why they shut down, because their love was taken and thrown in the trash. Like, give me an expensive purse, pay my bills, show up, I need you to show up, and so on and so forth. So there's a definition that love translates necessarily via, it's not neither wrong nor bad, and the masculine may struggle with that, because what happens if they don't have a job? It's a lot of masculine energy here. I don't know if you noticed. Knight of Cups in reverse, upcoming energy. Knight of Pentacles in reverse. Making promises that one cannot keep, being emotionally confused and unavailable, deceitful, manipulative, or again making those false promises. Do they love? Yes. Do they know how? No. They're a bit confused and disheartened. Someone who obviously got hurt terribly, and they decided they were never really gonna wear their heart on the sleeve completely, especially because they may have perception of what is expected of them, or what everybody expects them to be, and hence why they're disheartened and dishonest to begin with, because from the get-go they think they're only going to be worth, or they're going to be holding on to a partner or perceived as loving if they offer or invest something, which at this time, for whichever reason, they're done doing. They're done paying, they're done for other men's mistake, they're done paying, as in being open and then having said vulnerability used against them, therefore getting hurt or manipulated or deceived. So in a defensive attack, they go on and do it themselves. They are dishonest from the get-go. Again, they don't wear their heart on the sleeve. They are distrustful. They trust no one because they got hurt in the past. They're quick to determine whether someone aligns with that specific general mentality of how dating or partnership or love or marriage actually unfolds. It usually tends to be transactional. They want to be loved for who they are, known and acknowledged for who, but at the same time, they're not really showing themselves for who they are either. They're a bit confused about who they are because they're not true to their heart. They're not opening their heart. This is someone closed-hearted. Again, can be cruel even at an emotional, psychic, and spiritual level. They will never reveal how deeply they truly feel, what their feelings are, and therefore they may appear as the exact opposite. In reality, there's an abundance. It's someone highly sensitive and intuitive, highly empathetic and kind, and overly generous. This is the masculine that's been taken advantage of, manipulated, deceived, and okay. 6 of Wands, yeah. Loss and failure. They're currently in a fallen state. It's a traveler energy, the Knight of Wands, and they may appear in the player energy. Not someone you can don't take them at face value, because again, they're not what they appear. Then again, you can only reply to their behavior, whether honest or otherwise. Just know that they're not a player, not truly, not in their heart. I guess it takes the right person to open their heart. But right now they're in exploration mode, and they're trying not to take anything or anyone too seriously or allow anyone close to their heart. Analysis. They're gonna ultimately, if they do feel something different about a specific feminine, Ace of Cups, when the heart is blown open, what will they do? They're thrown in the mind. They have to process something. Sword in the heart. Heartbreak. They have to process it. Then everything is brought back up, and they need to experience some emotional growth here. Explore, analyze their emotions, and so on. They gotta do shadow work. Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, Gemini here, the Magician, bottom of the deck. And again, even the Page of Cups is reversed. He's the wounded child, terribly wounded. Suffers if they get stuck too long, or they start getting attached, or because they're terrified of getting hurt. Then again, it depends on what choices in partners they... Again, it's a very serious person. Usually it's self-made, hard-working, very capable, very skilled, especially with their hands. They tend to lead to completion projects over long periods of time. They set a goal to mind and go along and flow with it, work with the energies as they arise. Magician, extremely intelligent, usually brilliant. Again, self-made, can be real estate, or can also be a healer if they would actually choose to go that route. So to the world, they've chosen this path, thinking that this was going to be the way to obtain everything. But they did obtain the finances. Isn't that curious? Because here we see them struggling about their finances, as in they're challenged about the fact that people only see them for what they can offer, regardless of the state that they're currently in, whether they're struggling with money or not. Regardless, it's what they've basically, throughout their journey, there's a lot of traveling. Someone who traveled a lot, both with the mind, with the spirit, with the heart, and probably for work as well, and even for love. Yeah, they've taken chances, and curiously, because they're usually very practical, down to earth and grounded, very mature and responsible when it comes to work, finances, business, and commitment. Loyalty is very important to him. That's why I say this is someone who presents themselves as someone who's merely taking, things superfluous at face value, superficially. May appear as someone who is either less serious, inconsistent, or just fooling around and playing around. And it's kind of their attitude. Yeah, it is an attitude. But it seems that there seems to be love here, whether anyone likes it or not. Where is this? Who is this feminine? There's a heartbreak here. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, Gemini, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Yeah, Paris, Leo, Sag over there, but may have to do with the next action. Wow, what a complex person, extremely complex. This is someone very mature, probably already gray-haired. Yet chooses to act or even dress, I hear. It's very youthful, very modern and open-minded, and this is a facade though. True to some extent, I guess. Appears as an extrovert. In reality, they mean business. They like their stability, everything in check. They like to be able to trust and work with the people in their life, finds high quality people to both work with and interact with, can discern and determine immediately what someone's intentions are, what they moved by, what their nature is. The sun, Leo energy, the big encounter that blows the heart open. I'm sorry, it's a bit of a mishmash here. Where is the feminine though? Hangman again in reverse. Piscean energy for the feminine. I keep inquiring. And the Six of Pentacles for the feminine. The feminine is quite at the opposite end. No wonder he may initially be doubtful. He may find her in a state of, well, in a challenging state, financially or practical wise, or at least in transitioning towards financial stability. But then again, that's kind of the situation for everyone. So they may be a bit taken aback, as in they will take it slowly. The moment that, you know, they start realizing that, recognizing something in this feminine, they will go very slowly in order to try and avoid, well, corruption, usury, and he wants to make sure that this connection is genuine and it's not just based on possible interest. You may be dealing with someone that's actually at the forefront or very popular, very well known in their line of work or business, or this can be also a CEO. And again, I don't see them too involved in the more spiritual, religious, healing, healthcare and so on, even though they would have the spirit and the heart for it and the nature for it. Yeah, it can be an engineer, a traveler, maybe airplanes, transportation. Either way, we have the sun, harmony, alignment, grand rising, warmth, love, fertility, children, divine masculine energy, seeds, expansion, entertainment, improving of one's financial, emotional, mental, social, and overall standard of life, kind of a situation, status. So this is someone in the limelight, or sorry, at the forefront. Someone extremely well known. Usually married or to be married. This is someone who may fool around for a while, but once they find their person, they actually, once they made their, clarified their intentions, they go straight for it. Yep. Full-blown open heart, making that offer, becoming someone's official counterpart. Once they decide, they're there for good. Up until now, they've been exploring. Their heart was not in it, though. And focusing on manifestation. Extremely capable. Highly educated. Union. In reverse. Three of Wands. Again, that energy of traveling, options, distance, foresight, vision. There she is. She's the Queen of Wands in reverse. Okay, as I said, the feminine, I don't feel her. She may be triggered when he presents himself in this energy and refuse their advances based on just appearance or physical attraction. Yep, she'll be quick to she's gonna just not even consider this person. It's a player. We're done. We're done here. Yep. First approach is definitely unfortunate, but the person is, again, seriously interested, extremely capable, very charming, charismatic, and popular. This is a famous person. It's a person that's well known in either their industry or their line of work or business or field. The Eight of Cups in reverse. Emotional immaturity, fear. Emulation, 10 of Wands. And reaching the end of one's strength or... Okay, cycle needs to close out one way or the other. And it seems to close out with a sensation of failure. One, the feminine has failed in a professional, social, and financial sense. The masculine has succeeded financially and social-wise, but that has failed on a personal level. Counterpart, yes. Season, July by September. Maybe a Virgo cusper with that powerful, strong energy there. Because 19 adds up to a 10, yeah. Virgo, Libra, cusper. Gemini. Strong air. Strong water. I mean, it's a magician, so what are we even saying? He can yield whichever element. He can shapeshift, transform, make things appear there where they're none, alchemize, and so on. Acknowledgement. One doesn't care about their social status anymore. It doesn't fulfill them. They're moving on to something else, and they're realizing what they're lacking. Emotional fulfillment. They don't vibe with people, with their situation, with nothing deep, nothing as intense or higher love that they're seeking for, and so on. They need their heart blown open by something touched. They need to feel alive again, and their nature is extremely sensitive, spiritual, loving, empathetic. As for the feminine, well, dissatisfied for the lack of emotional support, family, ability to love or build something. Both of you are finally coming to the end of very toxic cycles in very different ways. Again, this feminine is definitely struggling financially. She may be taken for one that may actually pursue, for all, with ill intention, someone for their actual wealth or social status, or ulterior motives are suspected here. The feminine suspects the masculine to be just a player, therefore of no relevance or seriousness or etc. Just a buffoon or and the masculine perceives the feminine to simply be someone who's terribly struggling and just looking for someone to save, help, or support her. I'm sorry, but this is the truth. So know that the challenge is ahead of you once the two of you meet. She's just as non-committal. It just translates differently. That's why she's single, even though she knows she's supposed to be someone's wife. She has it within her, much like him, except she keeps to herself. She's infertile. This is the energy of someone who's not planting any seeds, not growing anything, has lost the willingness to. She's usually the one who feed everyone to, right? She's prosperous. She's abundant. She ties in with this court card ties in with the major arcana of the Empress. So we should see her, busy bee. She's not. There's no one to love. And again, next encounter seems to be with someone that doesn't really have much to offer. That's the whole point. They don't wanna connect with someone simply based on who they are or what they can offer financially, or they want to connect with someone and they're seeking for the real deal. Both of you are. And neither of you is committed. The one is definitely ready. The other, not so sure. The feminine, I don't know if she's going to open up here. He will make a tangible offer and a gesture, but there seems to be a break, some test of time, in this case, timing. Both of them are disheartened. They've given up, but yet not entirely in their heart to the whatever they define as the ultimate fulfillment, happy family, life, home, success, achievement. You got to understand that both of you were actually needing for the same thing because it's within your nature. But one had one desire and many needs, and vice versa. One was moved by certain desires, but again, unable to meet their actual emotional needs. So you're both just as dissatisfied. The feminine never really pursued money because it's not like she's incapable. She's someone that actually may have given to all the wrong people. She's used to players. That's why she says no more. And vice versa. He's used to the feminine that are there to take. The entitled, the demanding, that really offer no affection or love in return. So you see, it's archetypal energy. One may perceive it in the other, even though it's not there in your heart. You gotta entertain the possibility the same may be true when it comes to your perception of them. You may perceive them as merely a player seeking to have some fun. And it doesn't mean that that's the nature of their heart. There's this disconnect. There are walls that we have built based on false perceptions or energies that may traverse and transpire within all of us to some extent, especially there where the need is, for example, in this feminine's case, the need is tangible. She needs a masculine in her life. She just needs to be aware of that, absolutely honest about it, and let's not confuse, because one does not exclude the other. She doesn't need players. She needs someone to show up, at least bring me a fucking glass of water. And vice versa. We gotta be able to count on one another. And the two of you have all the skills, capacity to do so. Do you make the choice to, though, towards one another? Do you make this leap of faith? Do you? And vice versa for him. He also is sick and tired of people just wanting something from him or attaching labels to him. That's why he's playing the game. People don't want to see me for who I am, only what I can offer or give to them. At least let me get something out of it. But at this point, again, it no longer satisfied them. They just act out of just habit or sensation of, well, let me get something out of life, right? But there's always in the back of their mind that, be careful, don't open up, don't open up, don't open up, don't open up. You're gonna get hurt. Fool around, but don't commit. Be careful, because the feminists, regardless for what reason, they just generalized and decided the feminine is just gonna strip you bare naked, leave you there sitting in your underwear in the middle of the woods back in 8055. Not knowing where you come from, what your name is, and where you're going. And vice versa, the feminine says, whom should I marry? Someone that comes, takes, and leaves while I'm left here struggling, never cares about my satisfaction, my fulfillment, never honors or respects me. Whom should I love or nurture or heal? So she's very closed off. She appears as introverted. He appears as an extroverted. In reality, both of them hold a reach in a world, regardless of personas, facades, or the current challenges or trials, or how those may make them appear. Honesty is an absolute requirement here. Both of them, I believe, are a challenge. Ah, yes. Scorpio energy there. Strong Gemini. Capricornian there. Definitely has Capricornian placement somewhere. Saturnian. That's why they're successful in business and finance. With Mercury as well. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Pluto. Harmony. 7. House of marriage, partnership, love, justice, beauty. 1 and 6. A yoke. Feeling tied down or frustrated. Devil energy. Peace and harmony. This time it's for good. This offer is for good. 21, 16, 3 and 7, 10. A dream can actually come true, except not in the manner with the person you may expect it to. Family matters. Yes, it's a family in the making. This is a mating for life. Forever. Profoundly monogamous, these two. They actually genuinely believe in true love. Wow. It's so rare to actually find it, despite regards of what current. They were moved by the desire to, I guess it's kind of natural for the masculine, with all the set of skills in their nature that they were given. They burned all the steps and the stages towards achieving what they felt was necessary in order to become the masculine that they envisioned they needed to be, the provider, right? But they're left emotionally drained, dissatisfied, disheartened by how the world is, how people are, how they choose to be, how things unfold, and the very definition of what harmony and fulfillment is. And that happens at we always say we move through desires. In this case, it was a desire for wealth, power, financial stability, and they've achieved it. And again, we move to the next one once we either achieve it or we fail to do so. For the feminine, she needs to move to the next one, which is in actuality her only one, her main basic one, which is family, in this case specifically partnership, marriage, the covenant, the vow, the promise, the union, because of failure in whichever else she would try to pursue. Not because she's not capable, she wasn't meant to. She never really put an effort in neither building a career or all along, all she wanted was for this masculine to show up. All along, he built wealth in order to have it to whom to bestow it to, except he found no one felt worthy. They either felt deceitful or dishonest or ungrateful or manipulative, or either way. This is alignment associated with temperance, strong Sag as well energy. Things will not always be this way. A change is coming. Again, the stages as we move through them, they're both returning to love, even though their paths are entirely diverse. The feminine should be receptive because this is the feminine. We kept looking for her. She's the ultimate cup, as a sacred graal. When you least expect it, but somehow in your heart you always hope to find it, but you're satisfied with whatever you can, trying to stay in gratitude and enjoy your life as best as possible so that you don't live in regret and bitterness, and yet still always feeling empty until you find the cup. Those who are thirsty, come and drink. Well, this person is definitely thirsty, let me say that, and he apparently finds the great cup in a feminine that, whether it's her own perception, the world's, or whatever, feels she's got none to offer. But she is the waters of life. She embodies it energetically, spiritually. Wind chimes, energy, strong air that connects you, highly intelligent, the both of you, probably sapiosexuals. And when you do commit, it is for life. Life. Both of you like to put hard work, because you know that's the price to build something long term, a legacy. One more. and it flipped for you. The dance in reverse of misalignment from the get-go. You definitely have a challenge on your hands. Last but not least, the barrel, the spinning. You feel something is lacking in your life. Love, money, or goals, as I said. For the both of you, it's kind of the situation. Dealing with a relationship with a woman. It's all dependent on women's disposition, the sister's disposition, on whether she's actually going to give this person a chance. If she connects with her intuition, she's going to feel his heart. Don't base your perception neither on what you find out about the person, who they are, nor about their initial behavior towards it. I don't feel they're going to be rude. They're just going to be less serious. They don't come to make neither promises, nor will they again reveal their true intentions per se, because they themselves are discovering it, and they're coming from a dating scene that's quite, well, let's say they're not really, it's not promising, let's just say. So take that into consideration. Just be yourself, be honest, then take it very slowly and give each other time to restore faith in one another, in humanity, in love, in, okay? Because it's there in potential. Don't look for quick signs and big promises. And no, once they decide, they're just gonna show up and tell you what they intend to do. And you can trust them when they do. There's no danger here, danger in reverse. You're also releasing with the devil in reverse here, all the toxic karmics in reverse. Don't compare them with other people either, and stop reminiscing on the past. 9, peace, alignment, harmony, shadow integration. 2 and 7, a choice in love. A need for an assessment. 7 to 5. An initial conflict that will be resolved. A choice that ultimately doesn't really need to be made, because it's going to be made by the feminine. Once the masculine shows up properly, once they've determined, right? It's a dance. That's why we have the dance here, a bit challenging. Give each other the space in giving and receiving, and as how you interact, how you communicate, right? And take it easy. And traveling is it's a stake here. As I said, I do sense the traveler here. 2 and 8, yes, they're gonna probably come or offer, propose to come speak to you face to face. Energy in reverse. Don't burn stages, anger and resentment and possible conflict, but this is what birthed something new here. It is a clash, but not in between two people or two hearts. They're aligned. They're supposed to be together. Rather in between personalities, personas, conditioning, perceptions, etc. Maybe someone a traveler, therefore someone from a different culture at a distance, very mature, despite or regardless all appearances. So even there where you feel there's no chance, depends on your disposition. You take on the challenge. You gotta stay in touch with your own needs, be as honest as possible, and assist the person accordingly, appropriately, without comparison, without your, projecting your own fears, your own misconceptions, don't jump to conclusions. You gotta determine if you really want to connect with someone, right? Then it's up to you to attempt to do so from your end, right? They cannot force you, and vice versa. And it just happens naturally, ultimately. Again, you sit there as the beautiful, loving cup that you are with the waters of life. And if they're thirsty, they shall drink. And if they want to drink, they have to gain merit and come in the right manner, respectfully, with love and gratitude and sincerity of intention, of heart, of actions. How can I be more flexible right now? Because they seem to be a lot quicker in determining on whether they can, opportunistic in the sense of they determine if they need something because they're in touch with their needs. Again, they're very profound despite all appearances, very in touch with themselves, very introspective, has powerful charisma, by the way. What are you trying to control? Maybe it's time to let go. Let love move through you today, and trust the outcome will be for your highest good. Today's sole action, remind yourself all day long that you are safe, that life is happening for you, and that you are not alone. Then pray or do some meditation. How can I be more flexible? Flexibility in order to dance, right? Dance energy-wise, communication-wise, etc. Challenges for the masculine and feminine. The feminine, yeah, false perceptions of herself, attempting to portray herself in a certain manner in order to either protect herself or at least not reveal, because she may feel actually quite terrible. She may define herself first and foremost by her current circumstances, how much money she has in the bank, which is a terrible thing to do. But then again, conditioning, experience, past experiences. Masculine has a challenge. Oh, okay. He seems to fall for the feminine charm over and over again because, again, he's thirsty. He keeps heading towards the lakes. He keeps getting all the diseases. False versions of love, right? Parasitical, predatory, vampirical almost, mermaid spirit. He has an idealized version of the feminine, and he keeps trying to find her again, almost like the sacred Graal energy in his heart, but at the same time he is wise enough and has learned of the capacity for deception or self-deception of the feminine, whether she puts herself down or raises herself on pedestals. Either way, 33, very quick to determine one's spiritual degree, and definitely ready to make a different choice, brothers. You're not falling for it. Prosperity, abundance, you're going to be able to recognize this in the feminine, energy-wise at least. Beyond all appearances, superficiality, your challenge was. You chose it despite you being completely dissatisfied and even, constantly disheartened by it. You settled one time too many. But you will be quick to recognize your actual feminine. The energy is just so completely different. And it's going to be an emotional connection, energetical, magnetic, heart to heart. Because the light is in the water, regardless of appearances. So, you're done with the mermaids. Again, the feminine may have some confusion in regards to her perception about herself. She may struggle with age or identity crisis, hormonal imbalances, yes, as well, and sensation of failure as a feminine. You see here the matryoshkas, they're one within the other, and she's been doing shadow work, by the way, introspection, self-reflection, quite a lot of it actually. She may have been, kind of stuck in this process. So she's going to have to learn to see herself through someone else's eyes at this point, because she may be distrusting for all other reasons. For constantly being taken or dealing with masculines that would only choose her for her physical beauty or appearance, or she internalized it. And now she's done the work. She's currently also still doing it. Okay. Brothers, what you say is very important to this feminine. Widow. So weigh it. Connect with intention behind it, etc. Mean it, and so on and so forth. Be discerning with your communication, absolutely honest. As for you, sisters, you write letters and you do not send them. Sometimes you're right, sometimes you're not. You keep ping-ponging with this kind of sensation of you always being the one through your communication to determine on whether someone loves you or not, which is not the case. It's not true. Connections are made in the heart, regardless of what is said and done or how you look. You know that. If someone doesn't love you, it doesn't matter what you tell them. And you kind of always know that. You neither wanted to feel as if you're manipulating someone or trying to convince, nor seem pitiful, but at the same time you had always something to say. So you did try and change someone's mind, but it may not be for the reasons that they may have accused you of, or hence why you've tried to hold back. You have a lot of things that haven't been said, or they're repressed, or they may just be repetitive. You gotta recognize your pattern when it comes to communicating with various people, especially in a romantical sense. You may be overly intense in a very dark and negative way, almost as if you're making them responsible for your own current state, for the past experiences, for your pain, for your loneliness, for aloneness. What I feel it's because you seem to have embraced it with dignity. You made the choice. It's either my counterpart or no one, as opposed to the Scarlet Lady, which appears as an angel of light, right? In reality, you are white in spirit. Yet with a broken, shattered heart. In reality, it's not the heart that breaks. It's the persona, the ego, that kept breaking to the point where it revealed who you truly are. Sadly though, now it's the process of you embracing this actual, more authentic, raw, genuine version of yourself. Okay? It's your choice if you want to choose happiness or not. So same advice for you. Be patient. Don't burn stages. Come out of the past. Come out of isolation. Don't wait too much either, in the sense of postponing, etc. It's a momentum, timing, presence. A lot of pain and conditioning may stem from the past. You see, she, in all her deception, she portrays this sensation of momentum. So therefore, she's easily taken for someone who's rather more authentic. She doesn't have any strategies or plans. Whereas she is someone whom masculines in general may steer away from. And the boss girls will say, because they're fearful of a powerful woman. No, because they sense this feminine is not ready for connection. In any sense whatsoever. She puts boundaries, she puts masks. Her very energy says, stay away. Only the brave, only the worthy can approach her in this state and see beyond and through and reach her heart, right? And it's done, again, energy-wise. They will feel your essence, again, beyond words. So abstain. Check yourself when you start repeating same patterns when communicating or expressing yourself. As for the masculine and probably common challenge here is that the two of you may get overly stuck in your mind, overly analytical. Yes, you are extremely intelligent, but you may clash. If you attempt to do everything just according to the rules or by use of rationale, and because we had that 10 of Cups in reverse, the mind may, kind of try and constantly rule or override the heart. So this is a challenge in the sense that both of you will have to embrace authenticity and vulnerability, which should be some sense of liberation with that devil in reverse, but depends on you if you're gonna do this dance or not. By the way, there is a strong sensation of return even though you've never met this person. That's how you're going to recognize it's them. She has this letter waiting. She's waiting. She's looking out. Also considering distance and transition. And let's not discuss the other energies. Yeah. Flexibility. Either way, there seems to be a distance or some space or some break in between the initial contact and the redo. Religious factor. Oh, yes. Ah, yes. Religious factors. Yep. Your love life is influenced by religious upbringing and spiritual path. Is it your spiritual path or was in... remember the premises on which you've built all your spiritual practices or beliefs, and right? Love, tolerance, trust, faith, forgiveness. And why would you act out of just fear, conditioning, trauma, etc., etc., especially if with someone that, you know, could be your counterpart? If you entertain the possibility that you have one, and you seem to know that you do because you've made choices in order not to compromise. The masculine did quite the opposite. Let's explore them all. Let's see if I find her. And indeed, he does ultimately. And he's going to know that it's her precisely via comparison and experience because she's so different. Yet, religious factors. Why should something divide rather than complete or complement? Ask yourself that. So I'm not saying your practices are wrong. I'm saying the premises or the reasons on why you do them and how you do them, and etc., for how long, and if they're incompatible with a relationship, can you not just find ways around it? Because God doesn't even impose those things per se. I get it if you're alone and you've developed your routine and you're perfect. But if you genuinely believe in a connection, it doesn't have to be the person asking you that. But you got to make some space in your time, in your mind, in your heart for them. Not as a substitute, not as an idol, not as someone to worship. You should have integrated all of your actual beliefs, regardless of despite your ability to actually practice them per se. You practice them in real life by, working with others, connecting sparks, divine sparks, hearts, and so on, fulfilling your purpose. If you prayed, did you not pray for this? And now you're going to say no because you don't have time to pray some more for the very thing that you're receiving? You know what I mean? In times of war and love, what do? Do we go to church or feed the children, save the wounded, or fight a war? So, right now it's about union. What is your spirituality actually all about? How does that translate in reality? Isn't that what we look towards when we look at a spiritual leader as the saints and what they did? Not their mistakes, how they corrected them, the adjustments and the shifts and the changes, the transformation and the grand risings and their sacrifices, their martyrdom, the strength of their belief. How did that translate in the practical when they got persecuted, right? Once they made that choice, once their heart was blasted open and they connected to Source, that was transposed in their daily life and chores and activity. And even if they were monks, for example, they still included acts of generosity, visiting people's homes. And in many cultures, priests have wives and families as well. They fulfill that task as well. And it's quite a tricky one because it's not easy to navigate the two. Much like the Rabbis, they consider their counterpart to be their biggest trial and opportunity for growth, and it keeps them, on the straight and narrow path. Whether it's because they're extremely challenging, it tests their character constantly. How much virtue do they have in front of a challenging counterpart that you have to deal with on the daily. So it's the blessing of a curse, let's just say. Or they get the blessing that, helps them cope as the reward for the challenging times in the church or in the parish and so on. You know what I mean? Or at the temple, it doesn't matter. Same old, same old. So, apply your spirituality in your daily life. Embrace your destiny, whichever it may be. As for the new love is in reverse. Worth waiting for is in reverse. And reconciliation. Okay, yeah. Again, I sense this energy of someone returning, and it starts with playfulness, and you're gonna consider that there was a separation. And you do see, I've struggled to connect the heart to heart here. Wow, these cards just said everything right here. Anyway, you gotta make a decision, okay? But don't use religion as an excuse, or your spiritual practices, or your spirituality, because no one here is trying to take anything from you. But how does it translate? Why would you impose it on someone that you actually love? God himself retracted in order to emanate life, right? Divine sparks. And the process of creation, tzimtzum, you retract in order to emanate. And it's the same in love. You sacrifice something to fulfill another. Even in the eyes of God, whichever definition of him you may have, whatever you found, your actual daily routines, rituals and practices, and what you've embraced now as your lifestyle. Is there even space in there, anywhere, heart-wise, time-wise, for a person? For this person, did you make any? Are you willing to make any? So if something does come back around, I do sense, whether you've met them or not, though it's quite probable what I see here. The wounded child, the free yourself, healing family issues. Yeah, you both needed to heal some karma. Tough childhood for the both of you. Your love life